All right, hello, everybody. How are we all doing? I don't know if you can hear that squeaking in the background. If you can, I do apologize. That is my 4-month-old puppy. So today I just wanted to make a video chatting about my keratoconus experience, and unfortunately it hasn't been a great one, but I have learned a lot of things along the way. So for those of you who don't know, keratoconus is essentially an eye condition. It affects your cornea. It's where your cornea weakens. I think it has something to do with the fibers in your cornea weakening, which changes the shape of your cornea, which is sort of like the outer layer of the eye, and it's also the part that takes light in. So essentially what happens is when it changes shape and light hits your eye, it sort of refracts light and distorts it, and as a result you start to see ghosting and blur and halos and double or triple, in my case like quadruple vision. So all of a sudden I'm basically seeing like 4 or 5 versions of objects that I'm looking at. It's crazy and super annoying, by the way. My dad has it too, and it is hereditary, so big ups Barry, thanks for that. But yeah, in my early 20s my vision slowly started deteriorating, and I didn't think much of it. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I need glasses now. This is in like my early 20s, and half the time, no, actually like probably 80% of the time, I just didn't even wear them because the improvement that they offered in clarity wasn't worth it. As time went on, I started to get the feeling that something seriously wasn't right. So I went back to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, you know what, your prescription is changing at an abnormal rate, but we can't really conclusively say what it is right now. They ran a couple tests, and they said, come back in 6 months, and we'll see if there's any changes that need to be explored further. So little old slutty me wanders on back 6 months later, and then they're like, well, your vision has actually improved since the last time we saw you because you're doing better on the topography test. And I'm like, okay, that's strange, but you know, he's the doctor. I'll take his word for it. And I just continued on with my annual eye appointments, not thinking much of it. But my eyes became an undeniable issue when I was 26 years old, living in St. John with my girlfriend. At this point, I'd seen the optometrist. They told me, yeah, keep an eye on it, but everything seems fine. However, I started noticing crazy double or triple vision, lots of ghosting, lots of starlight effects and like halo, and just like nothing was clear. It was to the point where when I was skateboarding, I actually had to wear my glasses or else I didn't feel comfortable doing it otherwise, and that had been a first for me. So I was pretty concerned, and I went back after we returned home to the West Coast of Victoria, BC, and I sort of looked into it and saw a new doctor, and he's like, yeah, you have keratoconus, like 100%. He showed me how my eye was like abnormally shaped and how it's continuing to progress, and then he started discussing treatment options, and I just gotta say, in 2024, 2023, and 2022, like the treatment options are plenty. Luckily, it's not like it was back in the day with my dad where they'd be like, okay, good luck. Hopefully you don't need a cornea transplant, 10 years from now. So the first thing they did was book me in for corneal collagen cross-linking. I believe I'm saying that right. Essentially, it's just applying vitamin B2 eye drops to the cornea, followed by exposure to UV light. This combination induces chemical reactions that create new bonds, aka cross-linking, between fibers within the cornea, making it stiffer and more resistant to further thinning and bulging. Now, there's 2 flavors of this surgery, epi-on and epi-off. Epi-on is where the epithelium, which is the outer layer of the cornea, is left intact during the procedure. Epi-off is where the epithelium is removed from the surface before applying the vitamin B2 drops. The reason that they remove it is it allows for better penetration of the eye drops into the cornea, enhancing the effectiveness of the procedure. What's the downside, you may ask? The downside is it hurts like an absolute bit. If you go with epi-off, in my experience, the recovery process is a lot worse. I actually needed painkillers the second time around because it was just too brutal. I couldn't take the pain. It was just like someone poured acid in my eye. And it makes sense that it hurts, right? The doctor literally takes a scalpel to your cornea. Though I should note that you are administered numbing drops before the procedure, so you don't actually feel the scraping. I mean, you do, but it doesn't hurt. It just feels really, really weird and uncomfortable. It's only until after the procedure's done, usually about 3 to 4 hours after, the pain really kicks up. I had that procedure done about a year ago, and you have to take quite a bit of time to recover, because what happens is, since your cornea is in the process of recovering, your prescription is going to change a little bit, and you want to make sure that your cornea is fully recovered before you order new scleral lenses or new specialty contact lenses, because otherwise you're paying like $2,000, at least here in Canada, for specialty contact lenses that won't be of use to you in a couple months because your cornea is still changing. So that's where I'm at now. I'm getting fitted for these lenses. I have them ordered and on the way, but unfortunately it's a bit of a roller coaster, and I've always had this weird thing with my eyes. Like I value them so much. They're so important. I would never want to be without vision. So when your vision actually becomes impacted, it's pretty scary. But I'm going to make a follow-up video to this once I get my lenses in, and hopefully I'll be seeing 2020 with virtually no ghosting or bleeding or anything like that. Thanks for listening to my story so far, and I'll update you guys soon if you care for an update. And if you don't, well, I can't blame you. It's just pretty dull stuff. All right, until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.